Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this live stream. As we have the Bears and the Tennessee Titans about to square off, I know this is a great opportunity to see a lot of Justin Fields and what he's going to do. And that's for the Titans. A lot of their guys, are going to be out due to COVID and stuff. But the guys that are out there, it's a great opportunity for them to go up there and to try to secure either a roster spot, maybe move up on the depth chart. Lots of opportunity going around, but this one is going to be another great one to watch, and I'm certainly looking forward to the start of this one, especially to see Justin Fields out there for the Bears in this one. Let's see. As we get ready for this game to start in a couple minutes. Yeah, definitely we'll get to see. I think the game plan for the Bears is to play Justin Fields for like an entire half. So that's going to be fun to watch, to see Justin Fields out there for a whole half. I know that the Bears have decided that Andy Dalton is going to be their starting quarterback week one, but it's still a great opportunity for Justin Fields to get more valuable snaps in. Louis, thank you so much for joining the stream. Glad to have you here, man. How's it going this Saturday? Hopefully all is going well as we have the Bears and the Titans about to go at it. Louis said he's ready for the Bears football. Yes, and what a game it's going to be. I mean, regardless of the fact that it's a preseason, it's still a great opportunity to see Justin Fields go out there for what I'm believing to be an entire first half with the Bears. And so that's going to be fun to see. We're going to see a lot of Justin Fields, and that right there is worth watching the game in this one alone. But other than that, obviously seeing how this Bears defense will go against the Titans, what's remaining of the Titans, I should say, with everybody that's going to be missing this game due to, COVID and stuff. For the Tennessee Titans, they've been hit pretty hard this week with that, but really looking forward to seeing this game, especially due to Justin Fields. That is for sure. Have you watched any of the other games so far? I know with the Baltimore Ravens, J.K. Dobbins just went down with a bad knee injury. It's not looking good. He had to be carted off the field, so that was obviously that's a major blow right there. So hate to see it. Absolutely hate to see it. Love me some J.K. Dobbins, even going back to Ohio State. But, yeah, that was definitely tough to see in that game. And that goes to show why a lot of teams don't too much care to play their starters that many minutes, in the preseason. But, of course, at the same time, it could happen on any play. Meanwhile, we have kickoff here, and so the Titans will get the ball first. And we will get to see who they're going to put out there for the offense. And that's Matt Barkley coming out to start the game for the Tennessee Titans. I know they picked him up a couple weeks ago for the Tennessee Titans. All right, let's see how this Bears defense is going to come out. Ball's at the 25. A lot of guys close to the line for the Titans. Hand it off. And that should be a gain of about maybe 2 yards. All right, so it's going to be 2nd and 8. And yeah, so for the Titans, obviously, we know Derrick Henry's going to be the lead back, but they do want to get some more backs so that way he doesn't have to take as many carries. Because, he's had to run the ball so much over the last couple of years. So they want to make sure that they can get someone that can come in and complement what he has. But this Bears defense is not giving up much. Let me go ahead and refresh this so the scoreboard can. All right, there we go. Got the scoreboard up and operating. And Barkley, he just threw that one away. He wanted no part of that Bears defense. And it's going to be 4th and 6, so we're about to see Chicago's offense get the ball. Yeah, he felt the pressure around him that time. The pocket was just collapsing. Okay, opted for the fair catch. And so we get to see the Bears offense tonight. All right, so Justin Fields, get to see him early. This would be great to see here. First carry is a handoff. And that's Damian Williams on the carry. That'll be 2nd and 4. What I'll be paying attention to for this one will be definitely the offensive line, as they're going to have to give Justin Fields some time back there to be able to make some plays. And yeah, that's not going anywhere on that play. All right, so it's going to be 3rd and 5. Let's see if the Bears will be able to pick up this first down. Okay, no backs in the backfield, all wide. Up now, Williams motions to the backfield. Oh, man. Yeah, they got him for the sack there. As I mentioned, yeah, the offensive line is definitely got to give Fields more time on that one. And Fields will do himself some favor to get the ball out a little quicker in that situation. Yeah, this offensive line is going to – yeah, definitely going to be watching this offensive line this year, as they cannot be letting whoever's back there, quarterback, take hits like this, especially early on. He's got to have a couple more seconds to be able to deliver that ball. So the Titans will get their second chance with the ball coming up on this possession. So both defensives came out, got stops for their respective teams. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be the case, especially in the case of Tennessee, where a lot of guys are going to be out today because of COVID, and as they try to recover from that situation. So this is just really a great opportunity for the Titans to just continue to evaluate who else is going to remain on this roster, as obviously teams are going to be cutting down between now and Tuesday. So yeah, there's going to be a lot going on. Mike, let's see. Mike says, "Oh, interesting choice on my second game to stream." Yeah, definitely had to choose the Bears and the Titans here simply because, well, I knew this one was going to be on NFL Network, so I was going to be able to see it. So that made the decision very easy. But yeah, so I mean, it's a good one because it's an opportunity to see Justin Fields, and I know Justin Fields will get to play a lot in this one. So any preseason game that you get to look at a lot of these rookies for an extended period of the time, it's a good one to pick. Let's see. Lewis says, Dalton probably saying, see, it's not me. Hey, you're right. I cannot blame Andy Dalton when it comes to the offensive line not being able to block at all. I mean, we on the first possession, we already seen Justin Field already getting sacked, if not by one guy, then two guys already in the backfield in just a couple seconds. Unless he got the world's quickest release, there's going to be it's going to be really hard to get the ball off with that offensive line up front. Bears really need to do something about that offensive line. And at this point, it might be a little too late to address that need. We're not talking about one guy. At least two guys on the offensive line probably need to be replaced. And that's at the minimum. Let's see. Mike says this will be a fun game. Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Hopefully it'll remain competitive, though. We do not want a one-sided game again. Preseason certainly has a tendency to do that. Mike says, you fear the Titans, huh? Hey, the Titans, they definitely are a team that when you are going against them, you have to make sure that you're pretty solid. And when I say solid, I mean, think of 2 years ago in the playoff, the run that they had when, obviously we know Derrick Henry and what he can do, but Derrick Henry, he can do some things that can just put you on the wrong end of a highlight wheel, whether it's that nasty stiff arm or lowering that shoulder or even just, finding a lane and then just outrunning you. I've seen him do that a couple games as well. So he's a physical runner, and he wears on the defense. And then obviously the addition of Julio, we know what A.J. Brown can do. Yeah, so a lot for those Titans. Mike says, point to where the score is the entire time. I never saw the score up there. You know what? I'll make sure to make an emphasis every time you join the stream to point to where the scoreboard is at. But no, I think the last game, it took probably about almost the entire first quarter because I had the scoreboard up there, but for some reason I had to refresh the page because ESPN was not updating their scoreboard. So, but yeah, it's above me. There you go. Let's see. Mike says that the Bears running back seems limited. Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery, Damian Williams. Yeah, as far as Cohen goes, I believe he's going to be out for an extended time, if not the season, if I'm understanding that correctly. I think that's it. I don't know for sure off the top of my head, but I think that he's going to be pretty much out. So it's going to come down to Montgomery and Damian Williams. I like David Montgomery. I do. I'd like him more if Matt Nagy would actually utilize him properly. a lot more. But yeah, David Montgomery, he's certainly a running back that I like. And Damian Williams, he was important for the Chiefs on their run to the Super Bowl, the one in which they actually won 2 years ago. I know he missed last year due to COVID, but I see some potential there. I like that running back room there for the Bears, but you can only do so much behind that offensive line. I promise you that. So yeah, that offensive line is going to have to step up before we see more production out of the quarterback position and running back position, honestly. Let's see. Lewis says, no way this is going over 36.5. Right. I'm right there with you. Let's see. Mike says, wow, good luck, Fields. Yeah, ouch, just you and Allen Robinson. You're right. I mean, that's really all that it's coming down to, honestly, for the most part. I mean, I throw David Montgomery in there as well, but ultimately, without an offensive line, there's only so much that you can do. I don't care how good you are. Without an offensive line, you're not going to be able to reach your full potential. And so that is another reason probably why Matt Nagy wants to put Andy Dalton out there, let Andy Dalton take those bumps and stuff. Because, I mean, Andy's a veteran. He gets hit, he's going to shake it off, go back out there. Will he go out there and win your games? I can't go out there and say that. But, you know, we've seen the Bears make the playoffs with worse at that position. But certainly it's going to be really tough with that offensive line, how it's seeming to be based upon last year, what we've seen so far this year. It's just going to be tough for the Bears. Let's see. Mike says Marquise Goodwin is okay, average Rocket, but man is he small. You gotta love those small players, though. You have to. I mean, they play with so much heart. You gotta love them. Absolutely. And so, but yeah, so far I've got the feeling that this is going to be one of those games. It's going to be a very low-scoring defensive game. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that, just based upon what we have going on out there. But it's definitely a great opportunity for Matt Barkley with that backup role to just go out there and show the Titans what they have and him as a backup. And same for Justin Fields. You know, it's a great opportunity to go out there and continue to get more experience. Meanwhile, I don't really know what's going on with the scoreboard up here. Let me update this again because I see that the time is still saying at the very first, like as if kickoff never happened. So I guess I'll have to keep my eye on the scoreboard here from time to time. Well, let's see. Yeah, Tennessee's got a lot of guys up front right now. Hand the ball off. All right, nice carry by Sargent. And they really want for their Tennessee's in terms of their backup running backs, they're really looking for someone that can complement what Derrick Henry brings to the table so that way he doesn't have to do so much, whether that's being able to take 5 to 10 carries off of his load each game. That's what Tennessee really wants to see out of their backup running back position this upcoming season. And Barkley's rolling out, throws it. All right, they're going to be about a good 2 yards, probably about 1.5 yards, I'd say, short of the first down on that play. And you talk about a good look to see how your backup quarterback can do. I mean, the Bears defense, it doesn't get much better than that. All right, so they're going to line up out in the gun right now. They've got 3 wide receivers, bottom of the screen. Barkley steps up. He throws. Nice pass. He was quick with it. Got the ball out to his first read. First down. Let's see. Mike says that the Bears D-line, Akeem Hicks, I've heard of. Mario Edwards seems limited in stats. No one flashes. As I said earlier, the linebacker, of course, is the strength of the Bears. And so, yeah, in terms of like big names and stuff like that, obviously, you'd have to look at that linebacker position for those. But they've got, some solid pieces to work with, I feel. Then again, when it comes to like stats and stuff, yeah, some of those stats are going to jump out at you for some of those guys. But as a unit, I would say as a unit, they fit the Bears mentality. And there's certainly going to be a team that this upcoming season, they'll create their fair share of turnovers. That's for sure. But, yeah, I want to hear from you guys. What are your projections for the Tennessee Titans this upcoming season? I know we cover a lot about the Bears so far, but what do you guys think the Titans are going to do record-wise? And do you think that this team realistically is a Super Bowl team, as in a team that can get to the Super Bowl? So definitely let me know in the chat section here your thoughts on that. Meanwhile, Barkley off the play action turns it over. I just said that this is going to be a defense that creates their fair share of turnovers. And there you go, an interception, which is nothing new for this Bears defense. Yeah, Barkley, he knows he shouldn't have thrown that one. He knows he shouldn't have thrown that one. that was great discipline on that play. Obviously, if Derrick Henry's in the game, I think that play action fake draws the linebacker up a little bit more than that. But off the play fake, linebacker stayed in this position, stayed in this lane, and was able to pick that off. Let's see. Mike says, do you know when Bears got above average cornerback Desmond Trufant? Not fantastic. Let's see. 22nd round cornerback Jason Johnson, the Burns, and Eddie Jackson. Let's see. Yeah. So when it comes to just like the Bears in general, like it's just one of those situations where, as a unit, how can I put it? They complement the system that the Bears like to run there. Because I've seen many years where the Bears will go out there and they'll have maybe one or two superstars out there on the defensive side of the ball, but a bunch of average guys. But then you look at the team and you're like, oh, defensively, they're still a top 10 defense, top 15. Just a lot of it has to do with the scheme and guys buying into the scheme, honestly. Let's see. Mike says that you have the Titans dropping down from the 2020 spot to 9. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. In terms of, for me, a couple things. It's going to be one. Whenever you see a running back that gets as many mileage as Derrick Henry does, you definitely want to make sure that you get a running back that can complement him. I remember many years ago watching the Kansas City Chiefs with Larry Johnson and how he always had so many carries. And then all of a sudden, one year it just caught up to him. So you definitely want to make sure that does not become the case for King Henry out there. But obviously, the addition of Julio Jones, that's going to be big, but it's going to be very important that they monitor just his usage and make sure that he doesn't go out there and, risk getting injured, by overusage and stuff. Because the injury that he's coming off of, I had read that there's like an 80% chance of some type of follow-up injury for something like that. So he really needs to make sure that he's careful out there for this upcoming season for Julio Jones. Let's see. Mike says Corey Davis was no joke, a big loss. Hey, Corey Davis finally came into his zone this past season. Like, you can see that was pretty evident when he started making plays last year. Because I remember when they started off the year, I believe A.J. Brown was on the injured list. And so Corey Davis, he just came out and he was making plays. And so, yeah, that was a big loss there. And a great addition by the Jets to get him. It really was. But, yeah, Corey Davis, that was big. But obviously bringing in Julio Jones, we all know what Julio does. He commands respect of the defense, and then that top-tier speed. So definitely can't think of a much better replacement than Julio Jones. Let's see. Mike says Derrick Henry is amazing. He says that I don't value running backs usually because he is destructive. Let's see. Tannehill, I can't believe in him, but he is obviously very good. Okay. I definitely hear the argument many times about Ryan Tannehill. I personally think that Ryan Tannehill is just the quarterback that they need, someone that can do good off the play action and make the throws that you need to make. He definitely showed that he was way better with Tennessee than he was in Miami, and a lot of that has to do with not being with Adam Gase anymore. So, yeah, that's absolutely a big part of it. I like what I've seen from Ryan Tannehill so far. I mean, you talk about, I believe last year his stats, if I'm not mistaken, was like 33 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. You give me 33 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions, and yes, I will take that. I will take that in a heartbeat. Let's see. Mike says, what do I know about Josh Reynolds from the Rams and A.J. Brown? Yeah, I mean, those two right there, Josh Reynolds and A.J. Brown, those are going to be the ones that if you're the Tennessee Titans, you're going to put your hat on week in and week out. Both of those guys are going to be the guys that you're going to rely on in that passing game. Because Julio, we've known throughout his career, injuries is just a part of it. You just accept that with Julio Jones, although many times he can still play through injuries, but injuries, that stuff starts to add up and all like that. So Julio, that's great. That's flashy. And he's certainly going to help make life a lot easier for Derrick Henry just by him being out there. But on a regular basis, when he misses games, it's going to be A.J. Brown and Josh Reynolds is going to be there to pretty much carry the load for the receiving core for the Tennessee Titans, especially A.J. Brown. Like, we all know how great A.J. Brown, how he how great he is out there for the Tennessee Titans. And so the fact that he wanted, Julio Jones to be on his team, that goes a long way. And obviously they're going to be able to get along. He understands there are going to be some passes that go towards Julio. But yeah, A.J. Brown, he is a fantastic wide receiver. I really wish that my Patriots would have selected him in the draft, but obviously that didn't happen. And Josh Reynolds coming from the Rams, that is a very big pickup there. So now you've got 3 very good receivers that can go out there and you can go win some ball games with them. And that's, not even talking about, what you can do in the ground game with Derrick Henry. Let me refresh the scoreboard here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the scoreboard today. Usually the scoreboard updates itself, but it's hasn't been the case today. Let's see. Mike says that the O-line has been weakening, and that will catch up to Tannehill each year. Center Ben Jones is from 2010. Rookie second round player Dylan Randutz at left tackle. The amazing Taylor Lewan, but the O-line is getting weaker. And we've definitely seen stuff like this happen throughout the league. I remember when the Cowboys used to boast about their offensive line, and then the Colts, So yeah, that definitely does happen with offensive linemen, especially when they start having things like, back problems, foot problems, all that stuff. So that stuff definitely does add up. Let's see. Mike says the Titans D-line is a shell, no player left of note. Don't get me started on the Titans defense now. Like I remember last year, fantasy football, I was in a league that had about 14 people in my fantasy football league. And yeah, the Titans was a team that kept getting picked up on defense and then dropped, because each week we thought the Titans defense was going to step up, get it together. But no, that was not the case whatsoever. And so that's definitely an area that we're going to be looking to see just how they're going to look this upcoming season, because as you mentioned, the defensive line definitely can use some improvement. Let's see. Right now we're still 0-0. Another running play here by the Titans. All right, in that time, they're stuffing the run here. Let's see, 2nd down and 8. So Barkley's looking to throw, dumps it down low. And Sargent, he takes it to about maybe a yard shy of the 1st down. Okay, so we see Woodside's in at quarterback now. That was quick. Oh, we've got movement. Someone jumped off sides. Yep, so that's going to be a 1st down. That is not a way to make a good impression with your coaches at all. Let's see. Mike says that the Bears linebackers are the strength, but not amazing. Dupree is a help addition, and Harrod Landry proven is Rahad Evan or Jayon Brown good. And so, yeah, when it comes to particularly with Evans, I gotta check and see a little bit more about his background and stuff. But yeah, that's stuff that the regular season that we're gonna definitely find out, because especially if the offensive line is very suspect, in which we know that they are, then they're gonna need to rely on this defense. So we're really gonna find out a lot about this defense. Like just how good. I feel like we can say that they're a good defense. Obviously, we know that they're not elite, or like maybe prime Bears defense like they used to be, but they can still be a good defense this upcoming year. It just depends on, I guess, what your definition of good is, But there's certainly some worse ones out there. Let's see. Mike says, looks like the Titans on lots of draft capitals on the secondary. And so, yeah, when it came to the Titans, though, they let 3 of their 4 starting defensive backs from last year walk, after the season. And so definitely that secondary is going to be a position to watch throughout the entire regular season because they made the most changes on that secondary. I guess they said, the guys we have, they're just not going to get it done, so we got to move on. Now, a lot of that had to do with the defensive line of Tennessee not being able to generate pressure, I felt. So that was obviously an area that they needed to address from last season. But, yeah, definitely lots of capital in that secondary. Let's see. How are some of the other games currently going on right now? And I feel like this scoreboard is just really not cooperating today. Let's see. All right, let's see about some of the scores for the other games currently. Okay, so I see that the Ravens are currently up 23-3 at the half. That one looks to be one-sided. Really sad to hear about the whole J.K. Dobbins injury, though. That was really tough. All right, let's see if Tennessee will be able to get the first points of the game. Another running play and another stop. Another stop by the Bears defense. And we have a Bears lineman holding his arm. All right, so we're looking at a 3rd and 4 with 2 minutes and 16 seconds remaining. All right, so they're helping the injured player to the sideline. Well, he's pretty much, walking himself, but the medical staff is still with him. And so we'll see if Woodside will be able to get this first down on 3rd and 4. No backs in the backfield. And what a throw, because, Woodside took a hit on that one, but he still was able to deliver that pass for the first down. Yeah, that was a throw because his tackle just whiffed on that one. Another toss play and a gain of about 1 yard. And we have like a minute left to go here in the first quarter, and no team has scored yet. Let's see, Woodside's looking. He throws, and he's fighting for extra yards. He's going to be about 3 yards shy of the end zone. So what a throw by Woodside. Let's see. Mike says that he just remembered the Titans beat the Bills good on Tuesday night football last year. Or is that Thursday night football last year? Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. The Bears, the Bills, and the Titans. I feel like, you know what? That may have been one, because I do remember rooting against Buffalo in that game, because at that time, obviously rooting for the Patriots, needed the Bills to lose a game. And so I think I remember that game. What was that final score again? I feel like the Tennessee Titans have had the ball forever. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen Justin Fields in there with the Chicago Bears. And that may not be a bad thing given the offensive line the Bears currently have out there. But still, I feel like it's been forever since we've seen Justin Fields with the Bears on offense. But yeah, today's just been a fantastic day in terms of sports all around. Lots of sport news. And not only that, the start of the college football season as well. The Fighting Illini were able to come away with a victory of 30-22 over Nebraska. So that was some Big Ten football right there. I know UCLA, they dominated against Hawaii. That was expected. But yeah, definitely it's good to see college football's back. And hey, this is the last weekend of preseason before we can start getting ready for the regular season. Yeah, so the Titans being at the goal line, at the 3-yard line, they'll get 4 tries to try to punch it in. So we'll see if the Bears defense will be able to make a stop or if Tennessee will be able to get a touchdown out of this. All right, the start of the second quarter. I'm telling you guys, the scoreboard is just way behind right now. See if Woodside and company will be able to finish off this drive in the end zone. Hand the ball off, and he gains about a yard. Yeah, probably about a yard. That was a good stand right there by the Bears defense. And they've been doing a pretty good job so far tonight, honestly, when it comes to stopping the run game. You know, they're not letting anything get started. All right, let's see. Second down and goal. They only need about 2 yards to reach the end zone. Woodside hands it off. I believe that's a touchdown. That should be a touchdown. Oh, he says he's short? I thought that was a touchdown. Let's see. Sargent up the middle. Okay, he might be just a little short. All right, so it's going to be third down. All right, Woodside takes the snap. He has to throw it and get rid of it. That defensive line was coming extremely quick on that play. See if they're going to opt for the field goal or go for it. All right, so they're going to go for it. All right, so fourth down, about 5 seconds on the play clock. They snap it, and that's a touchdown. That's definitely a touchdown. Sargent with the carry on that one for the touchdown. So Tennessee gets the first points of the night. I feel like this was a very long possession. I need to see the time of possession on this drive because this was just a long drive. Okay. Gotcha. All right, appreciate that. Yeah. So, and last year was very crazy because we saw a lot. I mean, a lot of games being played all over the place any given day of the week, honestly. Meanwhile, the extra point is good. So the Titans, they get the first touchdown here early in the second quarter, and they are up 7-0 after that long drive. And so we're finally going to get to see Justin Fields take, I believe, just his second drive, if I'm not mistaken, of the game. Ooh, 42-16. And, hey, that's what happens when you get King Henry activated. I mean, when Derrick Henry decides that he's going to have a big game and starts running people over and stiff-arming people. Was that the game that he stiff-armed? Was it Josh Norman, if I'm not mistaken? But, yeah, that was – those – when Henry gets it going, look out. I mean, I can't think of very many defenses out there that can probably slow him down once he gets going, if any defense. You really don't want him to get going. But, yeah, he's just got that freight train ability, honestly. And Tannehill had 3 touchdowns. I bet you most of them, let's see, around that time. I wonder if more of those touchdowns went to Corey Davis around that time of the year, probably, or A.J. Brown. But either way, good day for Tannehill that day as well. Yep. Meanwhile, Tennessee Titans are currently up, and of course, the scoreboard doesn't update. Wonder what's going on with ESPN scoreboard. Yep, but yeah, you should see the scoreboard updated now, so it is 7-0. All right, so we want to see Justin Fields come down here. We want to see him answer it. Let's keep this game entertaining, and it'd be nice to see him drive it down there for a touchdown. Will Derrick Henry be the first player in the NFL to have back-to-back 2,000 yards rushing years in a season? That is one heck of a question. It's certainly possible because, I mean, they added one more game to the schedule. So that's another opportunity. You know, he's going to get his share of carries. So it's certainly possible. And that return goes all the way to about about the 30, 35. I believe that Derrick Henry is the only person that can be able to say that they ran for 2,000 yards at the high school, college, and NFL level. If I'm not mistaken, I think that honor belongs solely to Derrick Henry to be able to say that. Oh, and they blow that play dead. Yeah, for Tennessee, this defense is going to be the X factor for the Tennessee Titans this upcoming season. You know, what can they get? What can they expect from their defense? It's going to have to be better than it was last year somehow, some way. The changes that they made in the secondary, they're going to need for that to pay off. Who did the Titans open up the season with, by the way? All right, so Justin Fields has it. He's looking, dumps it off short, gain of about 6-7 yards. Okay, I just pulled up the Tennessee Titans schedule here so I can take a look at it and see how their season's going to get started off. So the Tennessee Titans opened up the season against the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's going to be a good one, honestly, between the two of them. Meanwhile, Justin Fields with the scramble and goes down. You got to go down, especially you saw the safety coming at you like that. You absolutely have to go down. But yeah, Titans open up against the Cardinals. That's going to be a good one. Got to like Tennessee's odds for that one, though. And then week 2, going on the road down in Seattle. That's going to be another good one right there. So they're going to get off to a tough start. And then week 3 at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, King Henry's going to definitely have a big game in that one against that defense. Meanwhile, Justin Fields throws it. Is it caught? What a catch near the sideline on that play. And what a throw to put it out there. Now, see, this is what you can get when you give them some time. They snap the ball, hand the ball off. Play's been stopped. Just as we feared. Yeah, they're going to take a second look at this one. Yeah, I need to see a replay on that, see where that second foot came down at. I don't know about that one, guys. But yeah, Mike, to talk about, the Bills and the Titans this upcoming season, they play October the 18th, and that's going to be a night game, actually. So that's going to be one to mark on your calendar right there for the Titans and the Bills this upcoming season. And I think that's going to be a Monday nighter, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Tennessee's got a pretty tough schedule this upcoming season. Mike says he wants no part of that for that Buffalo and Tennessee nighttime game down there at Tennessee as well. So yeah, they're going to be fired up for that one. King Henry loves to show off in primetime fashion. So yeah, mark that on your calendar. Let's see. Let's see. As for, I know your Bills open up against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Buffalo, and then the next week go down to Miami after the beatdown that Buffalo gave Miami that last time. Miami, all they need to do is just keep showing that replay over and over and over and over again until it sinks in. Let's see. October 10th, when Buffalo plays the Chiefs, that's going to be definitely one to mark on your calendar as well. Like, that's going to be one heck of a game. And that's really going to tell you where you're at. But for Buffalo, you're going to be coming off of a game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And then after that, play against the Tennessee Titans. Both of those games on the road. So that's going to be a very tough stretch right there for Buffalo. And then after that, you get to ice it off with a home trip against Miami. But if it looks like it did last year, shouldn't be no problem there when it comes to that game. And then let's see, November 21st at home against the Colts. I know that was a very close playoff game last year, but obviously they had Phillip Rivers as opposed to Carson Wentz. So we will see. November 25th. Thanksgiving. You guys go down to the New Orleans Saints. And whenever you go down to New Orleans on a nighttime game, I think they're a lot tougher team, especially when they're at home at night. They're just a different team, in my opinion. So that's going to be a tough one for sure. And so obviously Buccaneers, December 12th, that's another game that stands out. So, yeah, Buffalo is going to have their share of primetime games. That is for sure. So that means I will be streaming a lot of Buffalo games this upcoming season. And, of course, whenever they play the Patriots, that's another reason right there. Let's see. Third-round cornerback Elijah Molden. I've ever seen him in college. I have not seen him play at the college level. Matter of fact, let me do a little research and see a little bit about his college days here. But yeah, when it came to this year's cornerback class, if it wasn't one of the top 5, I guess you could say cornerbacks, or at least some of the bigger names, then yeah, there was a lot of mysteries out there at that cornerback position. Every time I look up, Tennessee has the ball. And every time I look up, they're also getting stuffed in the backfield too. Make sure the scoreboard's up to date. Let's see. Yep, Mike says a banger for sure. And zero fear of the Dolphins. Oh, hey, after that beatdown that you guys gave the Dolphins at the end of the season, I think that was reason enough to almost ask for Miami to almost pull the trigger on Deshaun Watson, if not for his situation. And even so, from the rumors that we're hearing now about Miami being the leading team, in that case, that leads you to believe that, yeah, that game certainly had a huge impact on terms of how the Dolphins view Tua Tagovailoa after that game. It was just all out bad, all out bad. But yeah, the Bears defense are not giving the Tennessee Titans much running room in this one. Let's see. Mike says the Bills had, let's see, bad D-line, no linebacker last year, so the chess match was terrible with Henry. And yeah, football is a game of matchups, and it's funny how that works. One week you can go out there and look like a great team because your matchups, are in your favor. And then the next week, it's like, oh man, your matchups, you don't like your matchups. It just changes on a week-to-week basis. That's one of the beautiful things about the NFL. And meanwhile, Woodson with that nice scramble. Jameis Winston. You saying, am I saying Winston versus Allen? But when you put it like that, then of course you got to roll with Allen. But it's something about them Saints when they're at home. Obviously there's more there. They've got Alvin Kamara. So when you add Alvin Kamara, Alvin Kamara versus Singleton, I like that Alvin Kamara aspect. And then just, the wide receivers. Obviously, I take Buffalo receivers there. But ultimately, it's going to be a matter of who's playing great football at that time. The Saints are still an unknown until we actually see what they're going to look like offensively during the regular season. But I'm just saying, when they're at home at night, they're pretty energized for those games. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's see. Mike says there will be no more balls. Hold on. There will be more deep balls than. Let's see. Mike says, second round cornerback 2020. I'm Christian Fulton. Never heard of him. They lost Malcolm Butler, right? Yeah, Malcolm Butler went to the Cardinals. Malcolm, he went to the Arizona Cardinals. So we will see how he does with the Cardinals there. But yeah, he's supposed to be the guy to replace, I guess you can say, Patrick Peterson in that secondary for Arizona. Winston loves throwing deep like Allen. That he does, but you have to – the hope is with Jameis Winston is that he learned the importance of checking the ball down. And I said it before and I'll say it again. Bruce Arians, the way he likes to run the offense and stuff, he wants you to throw the ball down there. So you add a young quarterback plus how BA likes to run things. They both knew that he had a deep ball, but if you go deep too much, you're going to turn the ball over. You have to be able to check it down and make different types of reads. And I think that's something that he learned throughout his time on the bench watching Drew Brees. Do I think it's possible for a former first overall pick to improve later in his career? Most certainly. Do I think that it's possible that the Saints might be the better situation for Jameis than what he had in Tampa? Honestly, I think it very well could be, but only time's going to tell. But it's going to be up to him because I think that he's a lot more mature than he was when he first came into the NFL. So, but obviously, we have nothing to really base that off of at this point. So that's just one of those things we're going to have to wait and see. Meanwhile, what a hit that Woodson took in this Bears defense. Scores some points here. And so, yes, we finally have some points on the board for the Chicago Bears, and it's generated by their defense. And this is something about the state of Illinois right now. You look at their college team, the Fighting Illini, their defense generated 8 points, and now the Bears defense are getting some points. What a day for the Illinois defenses. Let's see, Janoris Jenkins is okay. That's about right. Let's see, Kevin Bard is good. Agreed. While the Bears get ready for this extra point to tie this one up. And thanks to the Bears defense here, we have a tie ball game now. 7-7. And of course, my scoreboard won't update. But yeah, Woodson with that interception. I know earlier in the game, Barkley threw an interception as well. So, yeah, these backup quarterbacks for the Titans, they've thrown some picks in this one. Caleb Farley, the cornerback from Virginia Tech, first rounder on him. I personally, when it came to some of the, I guess you can say, more highly regarded cornerbacks, I mean, Caleb was not at the top of my board necessarily. Doesn't mean he won't be a good fit for the Titans, because I think the style that they want to play at cornerback, he might be a better fit in that regards. But yeah, I personally was about Patrick Surtain. I like the Asante Samuel Jr.'s as well. Those were some of the cornerbacks that I was high on. Caleb Farley. I see the potential there, but we'll have to wait and see if that's going to work out for the Tennessee Titans at that cornerback spot. But certainly he comes with the confidence, though. I will say that. He does come with the confidence needed to play that cornerback role, but that's just one that I'm going to have to wait and see how he turns out to be. Let's go ahead and update this because the score is tied. All right, finally got it to update. 7-7 right now. Let's see. And yeah, Tennessee's got to make sure that their backup quarterbacks are not turning the ball over like this. Now, obviously, he got hit, so that's going to play a role. But turnovers, that Bears defense is generating it. Let's see, second quarter, 7 minutes and 22 seconds. Okay, so Barkley's going back out there for this one. That's an interesting decision right there. So I guess they're just swapping between the two quarterbacks. All right, so Mac Barkley's going to get another go at this. In Tennessee, they have got to be winning the time of possession battle in this one. Hand the ball off again. This time there is some room, and he gets about 8 yards in the carry. It's going to be second down. We need about 2.5 yards to get the first down. Hands it to the back, and he probably gains half a yard, if that, honestly. All right, they need about a full yard to get the first here. And it looks like I think he got the first on that one. Let's see. Mike says that Gilmore is a cornerback expert, maybe the best. And so I feel that when it comes to Gilmore, he's the top cornerback in the league, just based upon I know if I put Gilmore on a guy one-on-one, I know that he can make the safe play in terms of preventing the pass from being completed. Now, the best cornerback, I don't think the top cornerback and the best cornerback is necessarily the same in this scenario. This is one of those rare cases that I think that Gilmore is the top cornerback right now, but I think the best cornerback is Jalen Ramsey. Ultimately, I feel if I had to put somebody just one-on-one and I want a turnover, Jalen Ramsey is that guy that I've got a lot of faith in him, and I still think that he, is that cornerback really. So if I'm a wide receiver, Jalen Ramsey's the guy that probably now Gilmore, obviously his cover skills is fantastic, but it's really 1A and 1B between those guys, in my opinion. It's just Gilmore, over the last couple of years, statistically wins that battle. Well, how is Justin Fields looking? That is a very good question. I mean, right now we are at the point of the game where we're almost halfway through. We're about halfway through the second quarter, and Justin Fields has only been able to throw the ball 6 times in this game. He's 4 out of 6 for 22 yards, and that's because, quite frankly, Tennessee's taken up all the time of possession in this game, honestly. So, I mean, yeah, whenever the Bears get the ball, it's quick 3 and out. I think they've only had 2 drives in this one, so it's hard to evaluate how Fields is looking in this one because we're not getting a good look at Fields, honestly. I feel like we've seen Matt Barkley on 3 drives. We've seen Woodside in about 2-3 drives as well. So, yeah, Titans have been controlling the clock in this one. Meanwhile, it's going to be 3rd and 3. Let's see if Woodside gets this first down, if the Bears can get a stop, and the Titans get this one. Yeah. It's important to remember, though, that the Bears defense did score a touchdown on that last turnover. So therefore, the Bears offense didn't get to go out there, and it's more time for Tennessee's offense. So we're not really getting that much of a look at Justin Fields so far in this one. Let's see. Good point on the cornerback. Gilmore is straight dependable. Ramsey is action. Exactly. And Ramsey's more in your face. Let me trash talk you and still pick you off. Ramsey, he loves that challenge. He wants to go against the best guy all the time. Now Gilmore, he does what he do. I mean, he's a lockdown cornerback, very definition of a lockdown cornerback. You're just not going to catch the ball on me. But Ramsey, he'll go up there and contest and go for an interception and go for a jump ball as if he's the wide receiver. Great hands, great cover skills, has the confidence and the ability to back it up. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that cornerback spot where we're at right now in the NFL. But there's some other good ones out there now. Meanwhile, look at this play here by the Titans. The last man brings them down. But what a play right there for Tennessee. And it's plays like this that, the Bears have barely had the ball, if just maybe 2 minutes in this game, honestly, 2-3 minutes, it feels like. But that was a great call right there by the offensive coordinator. All right, so now they can run the ball some more. They're 6 yards from the end zone. And he gains about 2, maybe 3 yards on that carry. Sargent getting a lot of carries in this one. He's ran the ball 11 times for 35 yards, and he's already got 1 rushing touchdown so far in this one. Go ahead and update this one. Yeah, so Tennessee's at the goal line here. Yeah, so Tennessee can continue to run the ball, but it means that when the Bears get the ball, they're going to have to go into their 2-minute offense immediately. So we will get an opportunity to see Justin Fields go out there and run that 2-minute offense for the Bears and see how he's able to do in that type of situation. But man, so far it has been a lot of the Tennessee Titans in terms of just running the ball, melting the clock, taking long drives. I mean, wow. I mean, just looking at the scoring possessions, the Tennessee Titans, they had the ball 13 minutes and 28 seconds on their scoring drive. I'm sorry. They scored. They had the ball for 6 minutes on that one. Then they had the ball for 4 minutes on the one where they threw that interception, and Trey Robertson took it to the house. So, yeah, that's about 10 minutes and 3 seconds straight of having the ball in their possession without Chicago having the ball. So that's the crazy part about it. Let's see. Mike says, yeah, unless Boogie and Rosu turn out to be amazing, that Chief game's going to be an L, probably probably an L against the Titans. I mean, you never know until you get there. I mean, it just takes a guy to have a breakout game, and we'll have to see how that turns out, because I mean, we've seen other teams that still can use some pass rush. It just really comes down to in that moment, honestly. But when you have a guy like Josh Allen on your side, you're always in the game. Especially if him and Diggs are playing lights out the way that they did towards the end of the season last year. Then you gotta like your odds there. But it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Certainly won't be no blowout. They'll be in the game. Yeah, which Bears wide receiver do they have out there? I mean, should feel like it's so long since we've seen them out there. But they have, Raleigh Ridley. I know he's had a reception out there. Let's see, Rodney Adams as well. I Scooter Harrington. Those are three of the receivers I know that were targeted out there. So yeah, you won't see Allen Robinson out there or anything like that. But yeah, those are some of the receivers that were out there for those previous possessions. I really wonder how much time as the Bears had the ball on offense, because Tennessee has just had the ball the entire, longer than a quarter. Yeah, and that is incomplete. It's going to be 4th and goal. Will Tennessee opt to kick the field goal or go for it? I guess they want to take the field goal. That was great coverage there by the defense of the Bears. Field goal is up, and it is good. Of course, I refresh it, and it's still not showing. Let me get the scoreboard to reflect the correct score real quick. Still not updating yet. All right, finally, we got the scoreboard to update. Let's see. Mike says he watched the highlights and the new wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders, looked cocky and confident. So did Beasley, better than gentle John Brown. Hey, 2 years ago, I had John Brown on my fantasy team, and it worked out okay. I mean, he gave me enough production. I was in a deep fantasy league, so he was okay. I picked him up as a free agent. But, yeah, John Brown being gone. But with Sanders, you're definitely going to get a good amount of that confidence. That is for sure. Absolutely. And Beasley, yeah, I saw Beasley as well. I mean, I know that earlier, Josh Allen missed on that one pass to Beasley. That was wide open. They both laughed about it because, I mean, it was so wide open it was going to be a touchdown. Definitely in the regular season, that's not one you're going to want to miss, though. But, yeah, I mean, Josh Allen came in. He was already in regular season form. If I was the offensive coordinator or head coach after that first drive, I'd have been like, we see him more than enough. Let's take him out. There's no need to play him no more. So we get to see Justin Fields run the 2-minute offense. And they opt to run the ball. Let's see. Meanwhile, for the Buccaneers, Tom Brady's thrown a touchdown to Chris Godwin. They're up 6-0 right now, pending the extra point against the Houston Texans. Let's see. 2nd and 5. Fields has it. He's looking. He throws it. And that's completed. Tackled by Farley. Justin Fields, he's looking. Throws it and incomplete. Running back drops it. Those are receptions you got to make consistently if you're a running back. You just got to. Let's see. Mike says, man, the Titans and the Cardinals, what a great game. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really going to be looking forward to it. I know that on the actual game day, I'm going to be watching a lot of the red zone for some of the earlier games to track my fantasy football players as Justin Fields scrambles and gets out of bounds about maybe 3 yards shy of the first. But, yeah, so I'm really going to be watching a whole bunch of those. But, man, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing how that game's going to play out because for both of those teams, Titans and the Cardinals, I feel like getting off to a fast start would be absolutely huge for them this upcoming season. Let's see. Mike says that he likes the Seahawks over the Titans, Titans over the Colts, and you got the Colts dropping. I will say that the whole Carson Wentz situation with his injuries and stuff, that certainly does play a role. Meanwhile, Justin Fields goes deep, incomplete on that one. But the flag, that'll be pass interference. So that'll be a first down on that play. But, yeah, the Colts situation with Carson Wentz, that's going to be very important there. And then even when Carson Wentz is healthy, there's already questions about him. But, yeah, I think that defense for the Colts will still be close to what it was last year. And so that's going to obviously help them out. They still have that running game, except now you add Marlon Mack back to the mix. They still have the receivers that they have. If a couple of those guys can step up, then that would help the Colts. But ultimately, when you look at the schedule for the Colts, it's just really tough. It's brutal. It's to the point of being brutal for the Colts. So that's not going to bode well for them at all. So I can definitely see what you're saying in that one. Justin Fields is looking. He throws it. Okay, what a catch. And a flag. Yeah, Adams did not like that. Let's see. Let me go ahead and put a question up here real quick. Meanwhile, Justin Fields using his legs, he throws it. And he caught it. Is it a touchdown? Touchdown. What a play. Adjust my volume there. But yeah, touchdown. Chicago. What a play. I need to see a replay on that because that was one heck of a catch on that sideline and one heck of a throw. He put it in a place where only his guy can get it. And what a catch. One-handed touchdown. Wow. What a play. Mike says, there we go. Yeah, I can hear the Bears fans now saying Justin Fields, it's time to put him in. But there you go. Speaking of Justin Fields here. Let's see. All right, so the question that I've got is going to be, who will win the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year award this upcoming season? Obviously, there's a lot of rookies to choose from this year, but not all of them are going to be able to go out there and start this upcoming regular season, at least not from the very beginning. But yeah, given how crazy the NFL season can go, want to hear from you guys. Who do you feel is going to be who's going to be the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year this upcoming season? I know that it's extremely early and we're just projecting here, but it's always fun to do that. So I'll leave that question up there for a minute. Meanwhile, but that was excellent clock management by Justin Fields. I mean, he looked poised in that pocket. He was able to use his feet to extend plays when he had to. And that last throw was just an example of keeping your eyes downfield and being able to make the tough touchdown when you need to. Let's see. So the Titans, I believe this is Woodside back in the game, and they're going to run the ball, and it looks like they're going to try to take this one to halftime. Let's see. Mike says Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's a tough one. Yeah, it is going to be tough because there's a lot to choose from. There's a lot to choose from. If it's a non-quarterback, then I like the odds of a Najee Harris. He'll definitely have the opportunities. I think how they'll utilize him at the backfield. Should this offensive line be able to give him some holes, that's definitely a potential option right there. Aside from him, I think you'd have to look at someone like Zach Wilson at the quarterback. For the Jets, I think that's another potential because for sure I know him, and now we know Trevor Lawrence will be starting. But hey, I mean, this is very tough to project this early in the year for sure. But those are some of the right now I think favorites because we know that they'll have the opportunity to go out there and perform. Let's see. Now, you keep the rookie out to keep getting reps, or put out Dalton. For me personally, I think the right choice would be you know that Justin Fields, you don't want to play him early. So maybe I might consider playing him another, like, just half of the third quarter or a little bit into the third quarter, a little bit more. Andy Dalton will not be seeing the field tonight. I wouldn't think Nick Foles would be the guy who would take him in the second half. So if I did switch, I would switch it to Nick Foles and let him come in and finish out this game. Because you certainly, if Andy Dalton's your starter, like Chicago says, then yeah, there's no points of putting him in if you didn't put him in with the first team unit. So yeah, I think that it would have to be Nick Foles up next. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking on that one. But yeah, Justin Fields, that last drive. I mean, we didn't get to see too much of Justin Fields, so that's the only reason why I probably would consider playing him into the third quarter, because honestly, just the way that the game was going, you didn't get to see too much of Justin Fields out there for Chicago in that first half, because the Titans did one heck of a job of controlling the clock. They don't have to lead the show for it, though, but they did one heck of a job of controlling the clock so far in this one. Let's see. And just looking at some of the other scores that's going on right now, I know Baltimore still has the lead against the Washington football team. And my goodness, 37-3. And that one is still early in the fourth quarter in that game. And then you look at the Buccaneers and the Houston Texans. The Bucs are currently up 6-0. I know Tom Brady threw that touchdown, so it looks like they either missed the extra point or went for 1-2. But yeah, so Houston has the ball there. And in the first game that I streamed earlier today, of course, the Bills beat the Packers 19-0. But yeah, this is the final weekend of the NFL preseason. And so for these guys, it's going to be playing in this next half. For most of them, this is their last opportunity to really go out there and showcase, everything that to this point, though, I mean, the coaches probably have a good idea, except for maybe a couple people in terms of just, that probably is a coin toss as to who's going to stay and who's going to remain. But if they've made up their mind about a couple guys that they're going to release, they're probably looking to see who's going to fill out that practice squad role, because you are going to need guys in the practice squad just in case you have to call upon them throughout the regular season. And given everything from injuries, the extra game, COVID, all of that stuff, you're definitely going to need to utilize your practice squad players for sure at some point during the season. So these guys that will be coming in the second half, that's what they're going to be looking forward to. And as for the, a team like the Bears, having someone like Nick Foles to come in as your third string quarterback, if I'm trying to make the roster and I'm on the offense for the Bears, I feel that much more better about my odds knowing that someone like Nick Foles, who's won a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback, is that third string quarterback, just having someone like that on the roster. Let's see. Mike says the smart move is that he would keep Fields protected, maybe start him later. But that O-line and lack of receivers, you wouldn't risk loss of confidence or injuries. And so, yeah, that's absolutely the biggest thing when it comes to trying to, as the coach, trying to determine how much reps do you give a guy as well as, that risk for injuries, But, of course, if you're on the football field, that risk comes every day, whether we're talking training camp, whether we're talking practice, whether we're talking regular season, preseason. That risk is always there. I mean, the NFL has tried their best to negate a lot of that risk, especially, but I certainly get the situation with the offensive line just being how they are. And so definitely if that's a decision that Matt Nagy goes with, you definitely can't argue that decision at all. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, this offensive line, they need a lot of work. A lot of work. But right now at the score, it is 14. The score at the half is 14-10. And so, yeah, we didn't get to see too much of the Bears offense, but that last drive definitely felt a lot better than what we saw early on when they went 3-and-out. Let me go and refresh this again. And there goes that Lamar Jackson to Mark Andrews connection they're showing here on the highlights. And yeah, as we wait for the second half to get on the way, let's see. So tomorrow's game, we will get to see in the game that I will be streaming early on will be the Jaguars and the Cowboys at 1:00. So we'll get to see. Don't know how much we'll see of Trevor Lawrence, but I assume we would get to see Trevor Lawrence in that one, as well as a lot of C.J. Beathard. For sure, you'd have to imagine for Jacksonville, and that's for Dallas. Clearly there won't be no Dak Prescott, but we'll get to see the backup quarterbacks for the Cowboys there, as well as along with Tony Pollard as well. Try to move that ball. Let's see. Oh, press the wrong one. Did I see Mahomes highlight? Hey, Mahomes, he is in full season form already. So, yeah, he's just out there lighting them up. I did actually get to see some of those highlights because I did take a quick look at that. And so I definitely took a glance. I was like, okay, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, still looking like Mahomes. I see no signs of anything to worry about there. So, yeah, I definitely saw that. I tell you what, though, once these last couple preseason games wrap up, it's going to feel like a while before we get to where the opening kickoff is. I know that we have Tuesday, a lot of the rosters to be cut down, but just that time in between then and the start of the regular season, it's going to feel like a while. Mike says, I'm a pain. Unless you have a player on each arm, he still gets it out. That's Patrick Mahomes, honestly. I mean, and yeah, that is painful. And you're absolutely right at this point. I mean, that's why I said earlier, it's going to take a team effort to get after Mahomes. What we saw in Tampa, but that won't be so easy to replicate what Tampa did with the improvements that they made on the offensive line to make sure that they help Mahomes as much as possible. So you add that offensive line now, and it's like, wow, this team's going to be even scarier, you could say. Because, I mean, some of the receivers that they had behind Sammy Watkins, I feel like they just needed an opportunity, honestly, to go out there and showcase what they can do. And they'll get that opportunity this year. So, yeah, the Chiefs are still going to be the Chiefs. Oh yeah, the transactions, they're definitely going to be fun. I mean, I like there's nothing more exciting for me than after like once the Super Bowl is over and then free agency, and I know free agency is about to hit. I love the NFL free agencies. It feels almost like Christmas, for football fans. To me, you're just seeing what players are going to go where, what teams are, improving, who's losing what, the contract that they're signing, all that stuff. So yeah, definitely with all of that. And the same is going to be true when it comes to a lot of these players. It's going to be cut, moved, traded, a lot of that. I'm just definitely going to miss a lot of the football action of actually seeing them on the field and stuff. But I know that that's coming soon. But I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. So I love both aspects of it, for sure. Just ready for these regular seasons to come along, so we can go ahead and start seeing some of these wins and losses start to stack up. Let's see, Mahomes has no Achilles heels. If you play perfect D and get nonstop pressure, then you give yourself a chance. That's about it. You're right about that, and I feel like Madden tried to do its best to reflect that when it came to Patrick Mahomes as well, that you're pretty much out of luck if you're going against Mahomes. But yeah, Mahomes, I mean, this kid is special. He earned that contract that he got because he clearly can do some magical stuff with the football that just makes you say, wow, or how do you guard a guy like that, So yeah, that's a great situation that Kansas City has with him in terms of just the future of their franchise. But hey, I mean, the arm strength that he has, I mean, you look at a guy like Josh Allen, I mean, he's got that type of arm strength as well. Now, obviously, Mahomes, he does a lot of those plays that you really just you can't coach because you don't want your quarterback doing those type of plays, but he does it so well that for him, you're like, okay, yeah, that works for him. But anybody else, it's like, nah, I don't know if I want you doing that. So but yeah, that it's really tough as a defense to be able to stop Mahomes, especially when you look at the weapons that he has at his disposal. I mean, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, just to name those two. Those are nightmare to try to match up nightmares for sure for any defense. And so then you add how gifted Mahomes is. So yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Mike says that Josh Allen is getting up there to where you don't need to be set. Just whip it out. But he got work to catch up. Absolutely. Like Josh Allen, he showed last year, just a sample of what he can do. And if he can keep spiraling and improving like Patrick Mahomes continues to do each and every year, I mean, he'll be right up there in that same very conversation. But as you say, he's got a little bit of work to do to catch up because of the start that he had to his career. But given that where he's at right now, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, see, Mike says that Aaron Rodgers I always thought was overrated. Okay, I've heard both sides of that one. I think Aaron Rodgers, I think that he's definitely a top tier quarterback in my book in terms of what he's able to do out there. And he's been doing it for so long, for so long. And so for many years, Aaron Rodgers, he just pretty much was that quarterback until Mahomes came along and basically took it and ran with it. And now we see Josh Allen's pretty much up there, Russell Wilson. And so, yeah, he's kind of fading a little bit. But I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. And I know that just about any NFL team, with the exception being the teams that have those young quarterbacks that they just signed to long deals, any other team would love to have an Aaron Rodgers. No doubt about that. Let's see. Mike says that Brady has Achilles heels, take away their short game, and play perfect defensive back game and pressure. And so it really does help Brady to have the type of receivers that he has right now, to have a Mike Evans, to have a Chris Godwin, because they really can make up for a lot. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, Brady's, falling off or anything like that. That would be crazy because clearly he won the Super Bowl last year, But in terms of just, I feel like when you have great receivers, that helps a quarterback that's aging a lot especially, I mean, because Brady can still get it there, but to have a guy that can win the 50-50 ball, that goes a long way. Whereas when he was in New England, you look at his last couple of years in New England, and it was not impressive because of the receivers or lack of receivers that he had with the Patriots those last 2 years, particularly that come to mind down there with the Patriots. I mean, they just really didn't have weapons like that. Then when Gronk retired, it just, yeah, so he had to get out, go to a team that has some weapons to work with. And that's football is a team sport. I feel like when you're in your younger years and your middle years, you can carry the team more. But as you get older, you need a team. I mean, it's a team sport, so as you get older, that's why you start taking less money because you realize you need the rest of the team to help you out. Football's a team sport. Let's see. Mike says the Jets and the Jags, 2 wins. I say win over the Bills and lost to the Chiefs. So let me make sure I'm reading that correctly. He said that the Jets and the Jags, 2 wins. I say win over the Bills and lost to the Chiefs. For the Bills to win those and then to lose to the Chiefs. And so, yeah, I was about to say that I don't see the Jets competing with the Bills at all this year. Not this year or the next year, but that's projecting a little too far. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see who's currently quarterbacking for Chicago. By the way, Nick Foles. Nick Foles is in the game. Okay, yeah, I knew they wouldn't put Andy Dalton out there, so they opted to put Nick Foles out there to end this preseason for Chicago. I mean, you might as well play him with the money that they're paying him. Oh man, Nick Foles. Nick Foles didn't even get to stop moving his feet on that one. He just had to throw that ball. He knew that pressure was coming. He got that ball out of there. Let's see. Mike says, then the Titans who win over the Colts, the Rams, Rams versus Titans. Who would I take in the Rams versus the Titans? That is a very good question. Because, that's a very good question. I mean, Aaron Donald and Derrick Henry. And then you look at Jalen Ramsey versus Julio Jones. And then so that Rams defense matches up nice against the Titans offense. Then vice versa, I think that the Rams offense would probably edge out the Titans defense. I probably would go with the Rams in that one. I think the Rams in that one over the Titans. Let's see. Mike says, my bad. The Titans win all 3, then lose to the Chiefs. Okay. That sounds a lot better there. Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that scenario there in which they do that and then lose to the Chiefs, But hey, someone's got to beat the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs are going to go undefeated. So someone's got to be able to do it, So and throughout the course of the regular season, crazier things can happen. I mean, last year we saw the Raiders beat the Chiefs, So the Chiefs, they can be beat. They can be beat. It's just a matter of who's going to be able to do it. And they won't be beatable every game. Look at Nick Foles out there trying to make something happen. Refresh the scoreboard real quick. Let's see. Mike says Foles is good with the Foles is good. Great Eagles line a few years ago. Yeah, and hey, I mean, even Carson Wentz looked great out there. I mean, he led us to believe he was the future down there in Philadelphia, MVP status until it wasn't. That injury messed up so much in terms of, what could have probably been down there for him in Philadelphia, honestly. Meanwhile, the Bears, they running the ball here, gained about a yard. Yeah, that fatigue is definitely kicking in from the first stream. That is for sure. Let's see. Mike says the Chiefs will get their second to third losses, their second to third losses, and good luck finding them. You just never know because, I mean, when you look at a team like the Chiefs, I think the Chargers are going to be a lot better than a lot of people probably are expecting them to be this year. So I think that's a team that's capable of beating the Chiefs. I know they've come close a couple times, but they're a team that's capable. I feel like at least someone in their division would at least account for one of their losses this upcoming season. Aside from that, I mean, I personally like, that matchup with the Bills versus the Chiefs. I think that's a possibility, but we'll have to wait and see. But there will be at least, I think the Chiefs will be about probably 13 or 14 wins this year, one of those two. Because obviously throughout the course of the season, a lot of things can happen. Injuries can happen, stuff like that. I'm not talking about anything major, but just something small. So a lot of things can add up. Maybe two teams might come out and get a victory against them within the division. I mean, if the Raiders can get one, why can't the Chargers or why can't the Broncos? So we'll have to wait and see. Those are teams that are very familiar with the Chiefs. And, hey, when it comes to division games, a lot of times you have to throw the records out the door because these two teams, they're very familiar with each other. And so a lot of the times it just comes down to who wants it more in that game. We've seen it over the years, many years, talking about the Brady years versus a team like the Dolphins or something like that. So a lot of times you throw the records out the door when it comes to division games, and you just line them up and see how they fall. Let's see. Mike says, I can see that if the Chargers take the next step. And it's all going to depend on the development of Justin Herbert. But he should take that next leap. He's got, those great receivers, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, those guys. And then you look at, obviously in the backfield is Austin Ekeler can stay healthy. That's going to be great for them as well. They picked up that center from the Green Bay Packers. I forget his name. But I think that was huge as well. So, yeah, the Chargers, they can very well be a team that can make life a lot harder for these Kansas City Chiefs. Well, I see Tampa's in full season form, Ronald Jones with another with a rushing touchdown this time. So the Bucs up currently 12-0. All right, so we've got the scoreboard updated here. And yeah, so right now the Bears are up 21-10 in this one. Nick Foles, he was 7 of 7 on that drive for 67 yards and a touchdown. Is it possible that maybe Nick Foles can start day one? Okay, so the Bears kick it off. Titans are going to return. I see. I thought I saw some space there. Able to get it to about almost at the 20. Let's see. Mike says if they got Foles, you start him over Dalton. In all honesty, if Matt Nagy's goal is to start a veteran quarterback, then definitely he should have included Nick Foles a little bit more in this quarterback competition than he did, just simply for the fact that he's won a Super Bowl. He's been in the system now for over a year. So certainly at least, he started some games last year. So certainly that should have been someone to at least consider, because, I mean, like you said earlier, Mike, with that offensive line of the Bears that they currently got, there's going to be some hits that's going to be taken. And so Nick Foles is someone that I know can take a hit and get back up and, try to deliver that pass. So, and at least that last year you were able to win some games with him. Although he did get benched in favor of Mitchell Trubisky, but still. All right, so it's 2nd and 7. The Tennessee Titans run the ball again. I'm seeing a lot of running plays from these Titans. Update the scoreboard again. All right, play action fake. And Barkley throws it deep for the completion. Nice pass by Barkley. Let's see. But yeah, Mike, definitely when it comes to the Bills and Steelers, man, I am definitely going to be looking forward to checking out that game. I will be tuned into NFL Red Zone during that time, checking on my fantasy team, but keeping my eyes on what's happening around the league, especially for those earlier games like the Bills and the Steelers. That's certainly one that I want to keep my eyes out and open for. Let's see, you look at the 49ers in week one. Yeah, that's one that I think that they'll be able to get against the Detroit Lions. Definitely on the road there. Got the 49ers winning regardless of who's playing quarterback in that one. Ooh, Chargers and Washington football team. That one's going to be a good one. Meanwhile, the Titans, nice run on that one, taking it to about the 15-yard line. So let's see if Tennessee can score here and keep this game within striking distance. Ooh, Jets and the Panthers. So in week one, Sam Darnold gets to go against his former team. I like Carolina in that matchup. Nice carries right now. Like I am loving these carries on the yards they're getting after contact. And that's Hawkins there on the carry. It's going to be 2nd down and 2. So it is possible to get the first down and not score. Handoff again, and Hawkins looks like he gets the first. It's going to be 1st and goal. All right, 1st and goal. Let's see if Tennessee can capitalize off of this. I mean, look at the push that they're getting. We've got some shoving going on. Nothing major. All right, 2nd and goal. Let's see, Barkley hands it off. Falls a yard short. He's about a yard short of the end zone. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 1. And you have to assume that Tennessee's probably going to try to run the ball again. All right, so 3rd and goal. Let's see if the Bears defense makes a stop or if Tennessee scores. And they score a touchdown. Touchdown, Titans. And Hawkins with that touchdown. They carried him. They used him a lot on this drive. Mike says that he has the Texans stand at 32. Got worse, but nowhere to drop. And so I understand that one. Let's see. Mike says loss of Curry. Jets dropped to 31. I think, let's see. I think that the Detroit Lions has to be at least 31, if not 32. I think I've got Detroit towards like that 32 area. But I mean, that's just because I think, Tyrod Taylor, with him being a veteran quarterback, I actually like Tyrod Taylor better than Jared Goff, given the lack of weapons that Jared Goff has. I don't know if we can count on Swift to be healthy throughout the course of the entire season for Detroit. And even if he is, they're probably going to have a lot of men out there looking for them to run the ball. And so they won't be able to run. Then they're going to get down by a lot. So, but I mean, Detroit's got to be at least in that conversation, I feel, in that tier at the bottom as well. You say we'll lose. You said the Jets will lose big to the Panthers. I tell you what, if Sam Darnold, if he has his way, then he definitely would love to show off in that game for sure. For sure. All right, so Mike says that Tyrod's good, but he's got nothing to work with. That's pretty much my case for Detroit as well, just in terms of who's Jared Goff going to throw to when he couldn't throw to the receivers he had down there at the Rams. And then you look at Detroit, and they no longer have Kenny Golladay, no longer have Marvin Jones. So they lost a lot of receivers and stuff. And so, same situation with them. At least Tyrod has Brandon Cooks. So I will say that if Brandon Cooks can stay healthy, at least he's got Brandon Cooks. Let's see. Mike says Washington lose big to the Chargers, got them moving to bottom of the pack. Ooh. I can't agree with that one, Mike. I can't agree with that one. I've got the Washington football team winning that division. I think the Washington football team, without a doubt, is going to be better than the Eagles. I think the Washington football team, without a doubt, is going to be better than the Giants. I think it's going to come down to Cowboys, Washington football team, and I think Washington football team, that defensive line and what that Washington possesses, that's going to be good. The stars that they have on offense from Gibson, and then the receivers that they got, Terry McLaughlin and all of those guys. Yeah, definitely. I think Washington is a lot better football team than to finish, the bottom of the pack. Way better than that. Yeah, we can both agree on that. We can both agree on that for Detroit. And as for the Bengals, I think they'll be better than last year, but I still think that's it's not going to really help them out much in the standings because the division is just too good right now. But they can at least, show that improvement out there. And Joe Burrow can still go out there and have a good year. Let's see. Mike says he's got a controversial take that Daniel Jones' pleasant surprise and the Giants win the conference. Well, the Giants, hey, they're certainly a team that every time that they do good, it's usually always a surprise. So, I mean, it very well could happen. I mean, they got Kenny Golladay. They got a ton of receivers. And so if Saquon Barkley comes back and if he's looking great, they still got the receivers. Obviously, they drafted Tooney, but yeah, they've got a boatload of right receivers now. So it's certainly possible. I know they had a couple guys that's been getting hurt, a couple guys that, it seems like they're having a lot of fights in practice and stuff. So they can certainly be a competitive team. I think I got them finishing third in the division. But, hey, that's what we love about the NFL. Sometimes it's just extremely hard to predict what certain guys are going to do. And if it happens, I'll be able to say Mike said it first. And, yeah, Yeah, I remember when I did my Jaguars prediction, and yeah, a lot of Jaguar fans were definitely coming for me for predicting that they were going to have a losing record. I had one guy swear up and down that the Jaguars were going to win at least 9 games at the minimum. He said at the minimum, but he was projecting more like 11 plus wins for them. And so I was like, oh, okay, we'll just see. Let's see. Let's see. Mike says that Denver 2020, 26 only move up a few spots. Skeleton roster. I can understand you too. I can understand that. I mean, the Broncos are certainly a team, though, that I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to look. Teddy Bridgewater coming in, not turning the ball over and putting them in a bad situation. It'll be fun to see. One of those fun to see type of teams, but it doesn't help them to have the Chiefs in that division. It doesn't help them to have the Chargers in that division. And shoot, you might as well throw the Raiders in there as well. Let's see. You say Steelers at 10, which is you participate a drop, anticipate a drop. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, 9 wins. Yeah, he literally. I think the comment is still up there on that Jaguars video. Like he told me I was mad for predicting anything less than 9 wins for the Jaguars. So yeah, let's see. Saints versus the Titans. I would have to go Titans in that scenario. I really would. Now, obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into play in terms of when they're actually going to be playing. But assuming we're talking earlier in the season, definitely without doubt, I'm rolling with Tennessee. I feel like that's a smart choice to go with Tennessee in that one. But it could be good. It could still be a good game. I think that the Saints are a very good team, even without a lot of quarterback play. That they've shown that over the last couple of years. That even when Drew Brees was out there, but he did not look that great, they were still a good football team. And now you add Jameis' ability to go deep, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over. Hey, the Saints, they're definitely a team that I think could still win 10 games this upcoming season. Let's see. Let me first of all update this. Yeah, ESPN has not been on it with these automatic updates in this one. So Baltimore has won 20 straight preseason games. That takes a lot of, I don't even know how to describe it. We're talking about rosters that pretty much, you see players come in, players go. It's all about evaluation, but yet to be able to win 20 straight preseason games, I mean, interesting. Obviously, you get nothing for preseason awards or anything like that. But if there is a preseason team of the year, you got to give it to the Ravens. But yeah, losing J.K. Dobbins for the Ravens, that's a big loss for them. And also for those who play fantasy football, if you already had your fantasy draft and you drafted J.K. Dobbins, then yeah, this was bad news. And all I can say is this is why you don't have your fantasy draft too early in the summer. All right, so we're going to see Tennessee again with the ball. Play action fake this time. Woodside throws it. Nice completion. As we run down the rest of this third quarter, got about a minute left. All right, so let's see. It's 1st and 10. They're at their own 34-yard line. Hand it off. There's a flag on that play, so could potentially be holding. Meanwhile, Houston able to get a safety in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so that score is 13-2. All right, 1st and 10. Snaps the ball. Woodside looks, throws it. Nice completion across the middle. And that's going to take us to the end of the third quarter. So 1 quarter remaining. All right, so we've got 1 quarter remaining in this one. Let's see. Go ahead and refresh this. And yeah, once we get back to the start of the fourth quarter, we've got a close game. I mean, it is a close game, 21-17. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins is the top running back for the Baltimore Ravens. And so, yeah, they drafted him last year in last year's draft. So he was a rookie last season with Baltimore. And him getting injured this entire, like he was going to carry the bulk of the carries for Baltimore this upcoming season. So him being injured, that's a big loss because I mean J.K. Dobbins. I mean I seen him at Ohio State. I know the potential that he had, and so they really were starting to rely on him towards the end of their season for the Baltimore Ravens. So losing J.K. Dobbins, that was a big loss right there for them in the running back room because now they're going to have to rely on Guy Edwards to carry all of the a bulk of the running back load for them. I mean Gus Edwards, yeah. So they're gonna have to rely on Gus to really carry the rock. And I mean, last year they had 3 running backs to choose from, although Mark Ingram kept getting hurt, so they didn't really too much use him. But between Gus and J.K. Dobbins, that's how they wanted to control the tempo, run the ball. We know the Ravens aren't a pass first necessarily team; they prefer to run the ball. So losing J.K. Dobbins, that was a big blow right there. Yeah, guess Gus Edwards is also a running back here for the Ravens. So yeah, those two were well. Now it's going to be up to Gus. It seems like because I don't know the exact expectation for J.K. Dobbins in terms of how long he's going to be out. I know I'm sounding like I do, but it's not looking good from how he was carted off the field. So at least for a significant portion of the season, I'd have to anticipate. Yeah, Gus Edwards is going to be that lead back down there in Baltimore. All right, so yeah, Hawkins with that carry, but there's a flag on the play, so let's see if they're going to bring it back. But Tennessee's trying to score here and take the lead. All right, screen pass, and okay, able to get a couple yards out of that play. Let's see. Mike says that he hopes some good team cuts loose a good cornerback or running back so your Bills can. Mike is definitely out there looking at on that waiver wire each and every day, like who can we bring in that can be that final piece. And so, yeah, I obviously between now and even past Tuesday, because we know the cuts will be finalized on Tuesday, but guys bringing in guys to replace some of the guys that get cut. There's going to be a couple guys out there and all like that. So definitely, when I do see something happen for Buffalo, I'll definitely go ahead and put that up there in terms of, making a video about it for sure. Mike says you will see desperate overpaid trades for O linemen. Oh yeah, that is the norm. That is the norm. Like even looking at some of the trades that we've seen recently, I know teams like the Dolphins, they've been involved with trades. Panthers, they've been involved with trades. Bears, even back then. So yeah, so anytime they can bring in a lineman, oh man, what a powerful run on that one to finish that play. But yeah, offensive linemen, I mean, they're just so rare, and yeah, everybody wants a lineman. Coach Dante, what's going on? What's going on? If I'm not mistaken, I thought you started up a stream not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. And so let's see. Hope you for the let's see. Hope you for the for the Bills trade videos. Oh yeah, definitely. If a trade goes down for the Bills, especially you talking an O lineman or a cornerback or a running back, definitely. I got you. Because I know this upcoming week there's going to be a lot of cuts and stuff that's going to transpire, and then once Tuesday hits, going to be a lot of those acquisitions in terms of new players and new faces, some practice squad stuff like that. A lot of movements leading up to the start of the regular season. So it's going to be a lot of action for sure. And hey, a lot of action is good. That's good for my channel. So absolutely. And we'll put this one right here for Coach to see who Coach Dante likes out of the Rams and the Tennessee Titans in that one. But knowing Coach Dante and his response, he's probably going to say he follows the Texans and the Eagles. I'm guessing that's what he's going to say out of that one. So you may not get a response for that one. But yeah. Let's see. But yeah, so the Tennessee is able to get into the end zone. All right, there we go. Had to update that one. So the Titans have taken the lead here. The second team unit for Tennessee has gotten it together, and that rotation that they're doing at the quarterback spot seems to be working out for Tennessee here in the second half. Obviously, this is very important for guys like that are really competing for these roster spots here for both teams. So it's really good to see them out there fighting with a lot of heart, especially you see how passionate these, second and third string guys and fourth string guys are when they do score a touchdown, because they know how important this is for their NFL futures. And so, yeah, we've definitely got ourselves quite the game here. And it's good because I know the last couple of games that I've been streaming have been really one-sided. But we've got a 3-point game here, 24-21 right now. And plenty of time still remaining in this fourth quarter as well. As we wait for the commercial to end for kickoff to go on the way. Yeah, so the Tennessee Titans were able to lead that drive. It was Woodside who was quarterbacking for the Titans on that one. But yeah, it was the ground game that was able to lead them in position for Woodside to throw that touchdown to Batson for 6 yards. All right, so kickoff is on the way, and I'm quite sure we'll get a return. Yes, we will get a return. All right, so let's see if the Bears can come out and respond offensively as Tennessee is taking the lead now. Let's see, but look at those carries that they're talking about that Derrick Henry had last year, nearly 400 carries. And if he gets a similar usage rate as last year, that would this year turn into 400 carries with the extra game. Second and 5, they hand the ball off. Should be a gain of about 2 yards on the play. going to be 3rd and 3. Yeah, at this point in the game, expect to see a lot of running plays. These coaches want to just go ahead and run the ball. They've got enough evaluation for the most part. Now, the guys in the field, they're out here competing for their jobs. All right, so it's going to be 4th and 3. Mike says high score for preseason. Mike, I'm just glad that this game is as close as it is. I mean, considering some of the games that we saw earlier in the preseason, I will take a 3-point game regardless of how many points. But yeah, for a preseason game, for both teams to be 24-21, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like we're getting a lot more commercial breaks here. Let's see. Mike says, is college week done for? Let's see. Other than the games that are currently, let's see who's currently playing right now. All right, so everybody who's pretty much playing, I mean, obviously there's still more games that's going to come on in a couple of minutes. You'll have UTEP and New Mexico State. Then a little bit after that, we've got Southern Utah and San Jose State. But in terms of like the big time matchups, yes, the next college football game will be Wednesday, and that's going to be UAB versus Jacksonville State. So that's going to be the next one. Then after that, you'll have to wait till Thursday when you see a whole bunch of, college teams that'll be playing Thursday. So I consider Thursday to be really like most of when you'll see a lot of the teams play again this upcoming Thursday. And of course, I will be looking forward to the Ohio State Minnesota game on Thursday. I know that one will be on Fox, so I'll certainly be watching that one. But aside from that game on Thursday, I mean, just looking through the schedule to see whether the game really stands out to me. I know there's a good amount of teams that's coming on. I guess maybe Boise State, UCF. I don't know, but for sure for me, Ohio State going down to Minnesota, 2 Big Ten teams, that's going to be one that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for on Thursday. Let's see. Then Friday, there's North Carolina versus Virginia Tech. Michigan State at Northwestern. That's another Big Ten matchup. As you can see, I keep levitating to these Big Ten matchups. But yeah, to answer your question, there's a couple more games to finish out today. But this will, you won't see any more college football after tonight until Wednesday. Go ahead and refresh this again. All right. Meanwhile, it's 2nd down and about 2 yards. And he looks like, I think he's just short, but he might have gotten the first. Looks like they're saying he's just short. So it's going to be 3rd down. All right. So Brian Hill's going to come in the game, former Atlanta Falcon. Let's see, 3rd and 1. Let's see who's going to win this one on the line of scrimmage. Oh, yeah, the Bears, they won that one at the line of scrimmage. They were able to penetrate, get through the gaps, and made that stop. And Hill looks like he's down right now. Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of running to end out this game for sure. But right now, the Titans, they still have the lead 24-21. And this game is still anybody's game. Obviously, there's no overtime in preseason. So someone's going to have to either run it out right, or if Chicago gets a field goal and that's the only score, then we will end in a tie. But it's still for anybody to still win this game. The last couple minutes of the game. So it's been a pretty good game, honestly. I mean, considering preseason, and we know a lot of these guys that's in right now are trying to make the team. Definitely a pretty good preseason game. Okay, so the Titans punt the ball. And yeah, special teams is going to be important for a lot of these guys that are trying to make the team here in terms of just being able to add that production from special teams. Nick Foles, he throws it. Completed. The receiver, he kind of juggled it on that one, but he was able to get the reception. So good job by Nick Foles to plant his feet, throw that ball in there, and the receiver to catch that. All right, and it's a running play. Gain of about a good 4 yards on that one. All right, so Nick Foles lining up in the shotgun. Tennessee looks to be bringing pressure. And they do. Foles throws it, and it is caught. What a reception. And this is a touchdown. Wow. What a play and what a catch that was for a touchdown on that one. And that is by Horsted with the catch. There's a flag on the play. But the touchdown still stands. Touchdown, Chicago. What a reception, though. I mean, he caught that. He snagged it with one hand. Let's see. And they're going to go for 2. And Nick Foles throws it. That's going to be incomplete. So it's still a 3-point game. Trying to get the scoreboard to update here. Okay, so it finally updates now. And yeah. So yeah, the Bears are up 27-24. And that was a nice touchdown reception by Horsted. The pass from Nick Foles was just in front of him, but he was able to reel it in with that one-hand reception and scored a touchdown. Yeah, well, thank you, Mike. Hey, it's going to be a fun season. It's going to be a fun season. We'll definitely be learning a lot together for sure, for sure. And so especially throughout the regular season, I know I plan on streaming all the Monday night games, Thursday night games, exception probably being on Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But outside of that, Thursday night games as well. Then we'll have our Saturdays, college football, Sunday, perhaps a Sunday night football game or something like that. Or maybe one of the earlier ones. I mean, who knows? But definitely one of those games. But it's going to be a great season. Great season. Absolutely. And that's why the fact that now we've watched so many preseason games, I mean, throughout the regular season, when more than half of the football fans are like, who's that quarterback? Or, who's who? We'll have a pretty good idea of who's coming in to step in, whether it's for our team, whether it's for another team, regardless. All right, so now Matt Barkley's going to go out there again. Bears look like they want to bring pressure. Tennessee runs the ball. Okay, about a good 13 yards on that carry. Tennessee has been committed to running the ball throughout this one. I will say that. Up, we've got movement on the offensive line. That's going to move them back 5. So we're looking at 1st and 15. Matt Barkley is in at quarterback. And again, if you're just tuning in, they keep swapping in and out between Matt Barkley and Woodside on, possessions and stuff so they can get a look at both. Barkley with the play action fake throws it, gets a nice completion, doesn't get all of it for the first, but he gains a good chunk and then some. All right, so it's going to be 2nd and 5. Barkley hands it off, and it's going to be Hawkins on the carry. Again, Hawkins are getting these carries. Hill was in the game, but he left due to an injury, so Hawkins is back in getting more carries right now. Berry College. Right, they hand it off to Hawkins, who's running, and Hawkins gets the first down. All right, so there is a flag on the play. All right, so they've got no backs in the backfield. Matt Barkley's looking to it's 1st and 25. So let's see what he can do. Throws it. That's going to be incomplete. It's going to be 2nd and 25. I know when the Titans brought in Matt Barkley, they wanted a guy to come in with some veteran experience who's seen some actual, game action and stuff so that they can feel a little bit more secure about that backup role behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, not Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Tannehill. Second and 25 in a shotgun. I believe Hill is back in the game, and he's back there. And Barkley throws it near the sideline. Is it caught? And it looks to be a catch. Bears look like they may be bringing pressure. Ooh, and Barkley almost throws an interception. That was good coverage back there. He had to get rid of the ball because that defensive line was generating some pressure on that one, so he had to get rid of the ball. And yeah, the corner, he just jumped that route. He read it, stayed with his guy, and yeah, he was in the perfect position. Just got to finish it with an interception, though. All right, so the punt is up. There won't be a return on this one. All right, Nick Foles is on the center, hands the ball off. All right, that's a gain of about 6 yards there. Up and they're showing the Tennessee Titans schedule. Yeah, starting off 2 tough games at Arizona, at Seattle, and then at home a tough one against the Indianapolis Colts. So those first 3 games can be very important and crucial for the Tennessee Titans this upcoming season in terms of determining just how quick of a start is this team going to get off to. And then you look at teams like, Jacksonville and stuff like that. Those are good chances to get a win before the schedule picks back up against teams like the Chiefs and so forth. And again, this game is still anybody's game. I know it's the preseason. So, yeah, definitely for the Bears who are looking to run out this clock. But it's still anybody's game. And that time that run went nowhere. Yeah, just looking at Tennessee's games, there's a lot of potential for a lot of, like prime time types of games and stuff. So it's going to be 3rd and 5. And again, they currently have the lead. So, every first down helps melt the clock. But that's not what these guys that are on the field are so much concerned about. A lot of these guys, they're really out there fighting for positions, fighting for jobs, trying to show the coaching staff that they deserve to be included on that 53-man roster. All right, so Nick Foles is still back there. All right, they've got one back in the backfield. 3rd and 5. Nick Foles is looking, throws it to the back, and it's incomplete. He drops it. So that's incomplete. So the Tennessee Titans offense will get the ball with about 3 minutes and about 30-something seconds on the clock after the punt. Let me update the scoreboard again. All right, so the Bears punt the ball. All right, so no return there thanks to the fair catch. And we will get to see the Titans again. Would it be Woodside coming out for them this time, or will it be Barkley again at quarterback? All right, so Woodside's going to come in for this drive. Again, the Titans have been rotating on drives. Who's going to come in at quarterback? So let's see if they can either tie this up or win it. They hand it off. Hawkins, he gets about a good 6 yards on that one. 2nd and 5. Woodside's under center. Play action fake. Pass rush is getting to him. He's trying to make somebody miss, and he just throws it up. Still finds a way to get a completion for about 3 yards on that play. And that is Kenzie from Berry College. He is currently down. He looks to be a little banged up out there. All right, so Kenny's going to be coming out. All right, so it's going to be 3rd and 3. Let's see, Woodside's in the shotgun. One back in the backfield, snaps it. Throws the ball quick, but too quick for the let's see, it looks like a tight end. So that's incomplete. It's going to be 4th and 2. Yeah, Woodside knows that that's a pass he has to complete because he had a pass rush was getting there. But, yeah, that was open. You got to hit those. And we have a penalty. Oh, that's a big one on the defense there. That's big. You're talking about an automatic first down as well. Oh, man, that's big, especially for guys that are fighting for roster spots out there. Really big. Woodside, he's looking, steps up, tries to run. That's going to be a loss of about at least a yard, maybe half a yard on the play. All right, so they're going to do the hurry-up offense here. We're approaching the 2-minute warning, so they want to get another play off before the 2-minute warning. Woodside does just that. They run a screen. What an excellent call. And Hawkins, he's not able to get the first, but he falls about a good 3 yards shy of the first. So it'll be 3rd down post this 2-minute warning break right here. Yeah, so there's exactly less than 2 minutes to go in this game, and we're separated by 3 points in this one. It's the Titans football. They've got Woodside in the game currently. And it's important to remember that, field goals, a field goal would only tie it, but there's no overtime in preseason. So, they can either win it or try to tie it. Take a look at some of the other scores around the league. All right, so I see that Tampa is still up in that game against the Houston Texans, 16-2. They're in the third quarter. The Broncos have a 10-6 lead over the Rams, and they are in the second quarter with about 7 minutes remaining. And after this game concludes, the Chargers and Seahawks will be playing next. All right, so 3rd and 3. Titans need to get a first down. They hand it off. Hawkins loses maybe about a yard, maybe a yard and a half. They're going to do the hurry up here. Can the Bears defense get a stop? They throw it, and it is incomplete. And the Bears defense come up with the stop. All right, so let's see. Nick Foles, he's up under center. One back in the backfield. Going to run the ball. Gain of nothing on that play. Tennessee is going to take a timeout. So if you're the Bears, you're opting to try to get the first down here, close out this game, take your team, back and evaluate this performance as well as everything that you've done up to this point to make that determination of the 53-man roster. As for the Titans, of course, they want to try to get one more shot to try to win this game just for the competitive nature of it. But you'd imagine that they probably would side his night might actually be done either way, as Barkley might be the next one to get the call should the Titans actually have to go back out there on offense. Okay, it's a gain of about 2 yards on that play. All right, so it's going to be 3rd and 8. The Titans have used, I believe the Titans have used their timeout. All right, so here we go. 3rd and 8. Can the Bears get this first game and essentially end this first down and essentially end this game? They run the ball up. Really, he's looking, and he get the first, or was he just shy? I thought he was going to get that first down. All right, so it's going to be 4th and 1. All right, so it's going to be, I believe, a timeout. And so, yeah, right now this is going to be if the Tennessee Titans defense can get a stop here, this will leave them an opportunity to try to go and either win the game. The option to tie it is still there, but ultimately you have to think that they would try to win the game because, I mean, there's no such thing as overtime in preseason. So, yeah, these two teams are definitely going to be trying to win this game. As for the Bears, a first down can certainly end this game, and it will end this game if they get the first down. But for Tennessee, they get a stop here. You know, I have to believe that Matt Barkley would get the call to go out there and try to win the game for the Tennessee Titans. They've got no timeouts remaining, though, so they have to get this stop either way. And as for Chicago, fresh off of that timeout, let's see if they get the first down and if this game's going to be a wrap. They're trying to draw them off sides. Okay, they were unable to draw them off sides, and that's what the game plan was for Chicago, to try to draw them off sides. Tennessee remain disciplined, which that's a great job because we're talking about guys here who are in the 2nd and 3rd team units fighting for job spots, but they were able to show discipline on that play. All right, so we're going to get to see a punt here. Punt is high. Excellent punt. Excellent punt there by the Bears and the punt coverage team. So Tennessee's going to start off with terrible field position thanks to that wonderful punt. So we're going to have to see something crazy happen if they're going to come out of here with this victory. With 23 seconds on the clock, no timeouts remaining for Tennessee, yeah, they're going to have to get lucky a little bit in this one. And yeah, Matt Barkley, he's going to be the quarterback that gets the call for this final drive for the Tennessee Titans. So let's see how this goes. Again, they're at their own 1-yard line. 3 receivers at the top of the screen, snap the ball. Barkley throws it, and just a little too high on that pass. Obviously, Matt Barkley's trying to get the ball out quickly because, I mean, 1, if you get sacked, that's a safety. Game already over. 2, if your offensive line gets called for holding, that's another thing. And 3, nobody wants to take that hit. So this will be 2nd down. And let's see what Tennessee draws up here. They need 10 yards for the first, but they're at their own 1-yard line. And let's see. Well, just like that, NFL Network has switched games on me. Isn't that just great? Let's see. All right, so it's currently 3rd down and 10 for the Tennessee Titans. About 11 seconds remaining on that clock. So let's see how the Tennessee Titans do with that. Yeah, again, I like how NFL Network just completely changed the channel for me here. But okay, so it's going to be 4th and 2 for the Tennessee Titans. And of course, if they don't get this first down, game's over. And even if they do get this first down, if they're not able to get out of bounds, it'll be game over. So you have to think that Tennessee's going to just try something long here to try to win the game. But they certainly can try to get a completion, maybe spike it, and then throw a Hail Mary after that. But given how far away they are from the end zone, they're going to want to get as many yards as possible along with the first down. And that's going to be, the Tennessee Titans were short on that play. So, yeah, game's over. Tennessee Titans have lost, and the Bears have won 27-24. That is the actual final score. So, no miracles here. And this game is over, a wrap. And so, I thank each and every person for joining me for this stream. Definitely be looking to live stream some more tomorrow during the preseason, but appreciate you guys so much for coming through. So be sure that if you guys haven't already, that you are subscribed to the channel. Best way to stay up to date, when I post these live streams and stuff, so you'll know which games will be streaming at what time. Best way to stay up to date with that, along with all the NFL and NBA news that I post throughout the year as well. So with that being said, thank each and every person for joining me for this stream, and see you guys next time.